Let's get into this. Woo! Yusuf on Sharks. I'm very much excited for this. This is a hand of two different plays at least. I know it does not look so good, which this is not good to have two bricks in your hand, but let's see what's good.
There can only be one winner, and you're looking at it. Let's go.
7th Ascension. Ooh, eating an Ash with the 7th Ascension, that was great because the Purge and the Ash were the things that could be used on 7th Ascension. We can't use Purge onto the Buzzsaw Shark, but we can Purge a Big Jaws searching from the deck. But on Summon, it's negated. So instead, we're going to use Bahamut Shark to summon the Virtue Dragon searching for the Virtue Stream, which did not eat up the Purge, unfortunately. We're now going to add back the Big Jaws engraved to our hand, summon it onto the field, search our deck, and that is when the Purge will likely be negating. Negate the Big Jaws mate. Now, we could go into Xyz Armor plays off of that, and the Virtue Stream is going to be able to pop 2 cards on the field. It's similar to Icarus Attack. Icarus Attack, but for fish. If you even know what Icarus Attack is, I forget that Icarus Attack was never relevant in modern Yu-Gi-Oh! That is. Back in my day, everyone was Icarus Attacking with the Black Wings. Now, with the Xyz Armor, we're going to Xyz during the opponent's turn. Come forth, we're going to be chaining a Max C. Draw for that special summon, then we'll talk about the forms of disruption we have here. We have the Dark Knight Lancer. One of the best benefits of Blue Eyes is how popular it is to negate a normal summon, but not to destroy it, not to negate the summon, not to banish it. But in the fish deck here, if we get rid of their normal summon, they're not able to go into the Link 1 into the Mausoleum play, which they already have Mausoleum in hand here. So our forms of disruption are, we have Virtue Stream, which I want to know, can this destroy a single face-up card in the field? If we set up a True Light, activate it, can we wipe it out? Well, the Virtue Stream states that you have to destroy 2 cards the opponent controls. So we could wait for the True Light to resolve to then pop the set card, then the True Light. So that's one form of disruption. And the Dark Knight Lancer will be able to non-target equip a monster onto the field. It's going to suck it up as an Xyz material. The Drill Beam is dead. Can't use that Drill Beam. We're going to set up the True Light, non-activatable. On the Virtue Stream, now it is. Should we have Virtue Stream before the activation of the Wishes? Possibly. We're now going to be grabbing a Roar and a Sage. Sage on summon, we have no negate. We have 2 forms of removal though, searching for an effect veiler. We're gonna Roar of the Blue Eyes White Dragon, and only now does the Drill Beam turn on. So you see how this is snowballing to the point where we could have used our disruptions early, but to be fair, we do have access to their hand. We see everything publicly. Blue Eyes White Dragon triggering the Maiden Engrave, come forth onto the field, and now we're going to Virtue Stream, get poppin', attempting to pop the True Light and the Sage, as the True Light would then wipe away the other monsters. We're going to Drill Beam, only thanks to the Blue Eyes being on field, to negate and banish that Virtue Stream. Now we're going to get sucking. Non-target suck. Do we suck up that Blue Eyes White Dragon? Yes, we do. And we're now out of disruption. What can we do from here? The Spirit with Eyes of Blue, well, we discarded the Mausoleum. This is a way to go into a Hieratic Seal, which is only activatable during the opponent's turn. So after being heavily disrupted, we have Ash, Veiler, and the Heavenly Sphere to non-target spin back. We're going to detach a material with the Virtue Dragon to grab back a fish engraver to our hand. We are going to return Xyz Armor card engraved back into our extra or our hand. Buzzsaw, come forth and summon for the deck. Drake Shark's going to be used as a triple level 4 Xyz, going into the Shark Drake itself, which has the special ability through the Drake Shark to suck up a back row. Detach 2 materials, target a back row card, attach it as a material. We're going to Veiler, negate. We still have the Heavenly Sphere, and we still have the Ash Blossom here. What is good? As we now go into the Xyz Armor Fortress, which we returned and engraved back into our extra deck. Detach material to search our deck for a quick play, not quick play, but an equip spell, which will trigger the Lancer to non-target get sucking. So before it activates and gets sucking, we're just going to spin it back into the extra deck, get the Blue Eyes White Dragon back engraved, Hieratic Seal, come forth and summon from the deck, Magna Hut, but Magna Hut did not activate. Why did it not activate? We were afraid to activate the Magna Hut. Why would it not activate? I'm not so sure about that. Anyway, we're going to Abyss Shark. That was the best use of Ash. Straight up. That's an amazing Ash. Oh, you purged. You turned off your Ash. No. Oh, no. Duels happen beyond the first 2 turns. Fire monsters for the rest of this duel cannot be activated because this effect is a +1 body on the field and a search, all in one effect that you'd want to negate with the Ash. It doesn't summon, then search. It's all within one effect. Completely useless Ash. And wait, didn't it? It also turned off Magna Hut also, right? Magna Hut can't activate, Ash cannot activate, going in for a direct attack with the Shark Drake. 100 damage over that Blazoid Dragon, lethal damage. Wow, Purge turning off Magna Hut and the Ash. It is a reality that all the top Blue Eyes decks have to deal with, but will still play Purge. Now, to play around the downside of that, you could set Purge, but if they use an effect that's just so good that you have to negate it, you're better off just negating it. Why my cards no work? This was one duel. Sorry, it was not game 3. Game 1 going to water. Parelia and the standby phase. Parelia is searchable with your 7th Ascension play. We have Sage on summon getting imperm negated. I would only agree with this if you have another Impermanence or another Veiler, which we do. So this is a high-risk gamble, high roll play, I would say, on whether it would work or not, because the more ideal negate, if they open up with a normal summon Sage, would be the Spirit with Eyes of Blue. Now, I did say that you should be starting off with Barrel, but under the context of the Drill Beam already being live and the Barrel making the Drill Beam be live, and if we wanted to, we could have been using the Drill Beam onto the Impermanence to negate it, but we're not. We're good, because we already got Wishes, we already got Maiden. We're just going to hold on to the Drill Beam to be used during the next turn. We have True Light setting up the Roar summon from the deck. Now, we can't Drill Beam the Max C, unfortunately. It has to be an activation on the field, which was either of the Impermanences. We passed on using Drill Beam. Blue Eyes is here. Do we even trigger the Maiden? Nope. We're going to chill. Discard the Barrel. Now, the Drill Beam's activatable with the Blue Eyes White Dragon on field. And the Wishes discarded a non-disruption to search for +2 disruption. Off of that Wishes, we have a Veiler, a Majesty, we have Drill Beam activatable, triple disruption after Parelia, Imperm, Max C, and only 3 cards in her hand afterward. That is insanity. What the hell is that? And then also because of Parelia, we would probably not want to go Barrel into Sage, giving them 2 draws. We're going to be searching for the Buzzsaw Shark. Now, Buzzsaw is incredibly vulnerable. Not only is it not a trigger effect, meaning we have to wait for an open game state, giving the opponent a chance to respond to its summon before it even activates, but if it does not have another shark to target for its effect, if you remove the Buzzsaw with an Ogre, a Majesty, it's going to stop the entire effect. It will summon nothing from the deck. And that's exactly what we're taking advantage of. Knowing that is how the Buzzsaw Shark works, we're going to wipe it out, so no shark summon from the deck for you. But we have the Big Jaw activatable. Come forth and summon as we Drill Beam, banish it away. We have Called by the Grave, which the purpose is to give us hand trap and disruption resilience, but unfortunately it cannot stop the Drill Beam. That is a 1-1, but Fishies now get to go first. Buzz saw it up, and what did I ask for? I asked specifically for Maxi and Fulas to not ruin the duel against Sharks. And what did you do? We're gonna look at the hand and return a card back. Well, Maiden is a play, so is the load, and let's just get rid of one of those 2 plays. And now we just have Impermanence. And the problem is Imperm should ideally go even with 1 play, but of course off the top of our deck, because we're a top tier deck, we drew into another play. We have 2 plays against a single Imperm. Let's go. Let's start off with the load, which is what they know that we have. Well, let's not reveal that we drew into Wishes. Let's push them into using an Impermanence, non-ideally. And then Yusuf is going to see the newly drawn card here, which was limited to 1 in the Triangle event. Or not yet. We're going to first maybe bait some other hand traps here. Maybe a Veiler. Nope, no Veiler. Okay, Mausoleum. And there we go. If Yusuf remembers correctly, that is the 1 card that was unknown in the hand. Otherwise, we completely know what the hand is. Got the Mausoleum, additional summon into the Sage. The Triangle event limited this Spirit Synchro to 1. So because of that, I think Ultimate Fusion was more important for recycling the Spirit Dragon back in the extra deck. But even with that, a lot of TCG players are playing the deck with just 1 Spirit. Maiden was limited to 1, so a single Bestial, a DD Crow banishing her made duels quite interesting, and also the Wishes were limited to 1. And what's relevant about bringing up how it was hit in the Triangle event was Konami runs the Triangle event. They are the ones that put those cards on restrictions. So is that Konami foretelling a future ban list or testing out how they would maybe want to treat the ban list in the future towards Blue Eyes? Now, even with all those cards limited to 1, the deck still felt incredibly consistent. So I think the deck would still be great. Probably not the best deck, but definitely not a dead one. And of course, Blue Eyes wins the whole duel, or I should say Max C. Let's go. This is a 60-card deck, by the way. So what exactly is this deck? So we send a Diablo Star from the deck to the grave to summon our Magician's Soul. The Conquistador summoning from the back row will destroy a face-up card the opponent controls, which could then trigger the Silhat Rabbit to pop a back row card. I'm not going to count that as a form of disruption. We also have the Diabel on the activation of anything from the opponent to summon a Silvera from the extra deck to flip the opposing field face down. We have Baron to floor to negate anything. We have Reframing, negate anything at a counter trap level. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we have Silvera, negate any card on the field. 5 forms of disruption. We have Engraver being sent to the grave, searching for the Tract here. Tract is going to be searching for Lurie, discard that Lurie, trigger Engrave to Reborn. Still waiting for the optimum moment to shotgun one of our back row cards. It's always scary when the opponent has not committed to their normal summon yet. We have Requiem jumping off to get negated by the Reframing. Just like that, spell, trap card, or monster effect is activated. Negate. Now down to 4 forms of disrupt left. Now, a good reason to use Reframing over Baron to floor is we don't want to deal with the triple tactics talent early, so let's use our back row instead. We are going to be returning the Lurie Engrave back to summon the Engraver. Engraver will be threatening a monster on the field, which we could use the Conquistador to get popping, or we're instead going to Diabel. Diabel's going to flip the Engraver face down. Come forth and summon for the extra deck, trigger on summon, get flippin'. Elzette is also going to be adding herself from Engrave back to the hand, be used during the next turn. And we have 3 disruption left. What's good? As we follow up with Deception of the Sinful Spoils, tributing off the Engraver, search our deck for nothing as we negate and destroy. 2 disrupt still. Could pop a face-up card, which maybe the Conquistador would have been ideally used here instead of the Baron to floor, I think. Come forth and summon. Wait, we didn't even use the Conquistador. We just used the Silhat Rabbit to pop instead, sure. And now we just have Silvera, which we still have a negate. We used up 4 disruptions before committing to our normal summon. But then, of course, the 5th and final disruption with that negate. If we had a Kieran in hand, Kieran could have dodged it, but then, you know, we're not playing Kieran with Fiendsmith in the same deck list. Are we done? Well, we can't search for the field spell. It is in grave. I don't think we search from the graveyard. No, we do not. But we can at least go into a Little Knight. Little Knight is going to be able to banish on summon permanently, and then secondarily banish while face up if the opponent activates something temporarily until the end phase, but that is a scoop. So 5 disruptions was perfectly enough. Let's speed this up. We have no forms of disruption, so let's see what's good. What can stop a rollback from Daruma cannoning the entire field? The Apollo can't, the Photon Lord can't, the Desiree can't, but the Sylvia can. Only this will be able to negate. So if for some reason Morpho does not disrupt the Magician's Souls before it activates to send Daruma and the rollback to the grave, and we somehow use the Sylvia before that, we're going to be in a big problem. It's going to kill the field. So let's see what happens. So we at least get the rollback engraved, but we still have to get Daruma engraved through the Magician's Souls. So the idea here is Mad Dog wants to trick Sylvia into activating. Sylvia must activate. That's the plan. Or we kill it. That's it. It's done. We did it. Congratulations. Wait, we're not summoning Magician Souls? We're just gonna set and pass. Okay, we're going for the long game. We're not gonna do a full Daruma right here, right now. Or maybe we will, because now the other problem with the Magician Souls would have been, what if, you know, I guess to even summon this, right? You have to activate this in hand to even summon it, and well, we could just normal summon it if the Apollo were to negate it, but the other problem would be the definitive out only is going to be a Little Knight banishing it before it activates. So now that they're gonna Little Knight early, maybe we now commit to the normal summon or the activation of Magician Souls. Let's see what happens. We got rid of the skill drain, which was our one of, we had more than one Daruma cannon. Is it worth, if we were to use Daruma engraved now, the Little Knight could chain. I mean, flipping the whole field face down is maybe not that amazing. We also did just lose the skill drain, which would have been immensely more beneficial. So I think setting more back row was better than trying to force fire a Daruma. So we're just gonna wait on that play. We got both Darumas activatable, plus the Silvera. Silvera on the attack is going to attempt to negate the Little Knight, and it goes through. Now, the Apollo USA is going to be activating to negate the Diablo Star, and it only negates if it reduces its attack on resolution, which the Daruma is going to prevent it from doing that. Now, the Desiree can negate the Daruma, but Daruma is not a hard once per turn activate. We got two. Daruma, negated by Desiree. Daruma number 2. Flip the field face down. Anything that's not flipped face down is sent to the grave. Little Knight is gone. Apollo is gone. Apollo does not negate as the Diablo Star reborns itself back onto the field, activating to set up a follow-up play for the next turn. Now, even with that full field, here's what's amazing about the full field flip. The Photon Lord could still flip up, but you declared an attack with Desiree. Because you declared an attack with Desiree, you now can't flip it up in main phase 2. But we could send it to the grave to trigger its effect, and then we could possibly just resummon it within the same turn. Our own Diablo Star is triggering as the Desiree is sending the opposing Diablo Star to the graveyard, set up into the back row. Our Deception Sinful. And am I gonna have to speed this up as we go through 20 turns here? I think so. Move to the Closed Heaven, Hollowed Azamina, return back Sylvia, engrave back in the extra deck, activate Deception Sinful, Hollowed Azamina, resummon the Sylvia from the extra deck back onto the field. As we now link off into Requiem. Requiem summon from the deck our Engraver. Engraver and Ash go into the Sequence. Sequence is going to be resummoning the Desiree back in the field that already declared an attack, but first going to go into a Lacrima, which is going to actually just reborn it back in the field. We don't even have to refuse into it. As we are now going to Deception Sinful within the end phase. I thought did the Photon Lord declare an attack? Why is it still face down? I don't remember it attacking. What? Am I missing something? I completely forgot that it declared an attack. Did it attack? Oh, you changed the battle position. You summoned it in defense and then you put it into attack, which then now if it's flipped face down, it's stuck face down. That is what happened. So Desiree attacked and Photon Lord changed its battle position. Small details if Daruma were to ever become popular that you'd have to change up how you play to play around it. Off the top of the deck, we got a Thrust. We're going to use the Wanted Seeker, search our deck. Now the opponent's got a negate with Desiree, a Sylvia negate, and beyond those double negates, we do have Call by the Grave, which I guess we can count as a form of disruption. So 2 to 3 forms of disruption. The Promethean Engrave is dead with no, it does have a way to be triggered. The Divine Temple could summon the Snake-Eyed Diablo Star, which could then trigger the Promethean on a separate special summon. So we're going to be fingering the Diablo Star Engraved to negate the Diablo Star on field, as we're now left with 3 other forms of Disrupt. 2 negate and a Promethean Princess. Get ready for that. Focus, getting an Eldlich from the deck into the grave. Magician Soul is here. Send Conquistador to draw a single card. You're negating draw 1, and you're turning on the Thrust. What are we thrusting into our hand? We are a 60-card deck. Doesn't that mean we play grass? Ooh, transaction rollback. What is happening here? Well, you think Desiree is negating Thrust, but it's similar to Apollo where on the resolution, it checks for it being a valid negate before negating, and it's only a valid negate if it's still equipped with the sequence where the Apollo has to reduce its attack to be a valid negate. So if we use the transaction rollback to copy the Daruma cannon, we flip face down that Desiree, it does not negate the thrust. We add from the deck to our hand, possibly a card that's going to mill up to 21 cards off the top of our deck. Are you ready for that? Let's go. Flip it. No negate. And this is why you could use Ogre against a Desiree to stop a negate. Not a grass-looking greener. You don't play it in your deck. Triple attack that we're going to draw 2 instead of milling 20. Was that good? Eldlich, send transaction rollback. So we have another transaction rollback in grave. Are we not playing grass? Come forth. Eldlich is here. 3,500, triggering the Divine Temple, summoning the Snake-Eyed Diablo Star. Say goodbye to the Desiree, which will activate in the damage step to send a card in the field to the graveyard. Get sending. Goodbye to the Eldlich, the indestructible Eldlich being sent to the grave, as Conquistador is going to set up into the back row in Eldlixir. Now, the Haquero is going to be able to banish a card from engrave. Is that going to be beneficial here? Well, the Holidays Amina is going to be returning the Sylvia back in the extra deck to add back to the hand. So if we chain the Haquero and the Eldlich onto the field, it's going to banish it on resolution. It does not activate afterward. So just like that, banish away the Holidays Amina, returning back Silvera still, but no Holidays Amina. That does trigger Promethean Princess, and triggering Promethean on your own turn is amazing because you now get the secondary effect of reborn whatever you want from engrave. This is a crazy back and forth duel. I have no idea who's going to win this. It looks like Snake Eye just wins it though, pushing Eldlich into the back row with the Flameburge, definitively turning off its use unless there is another Eldlich engrave, which there is. So maybe that Flameburst play was not so good, where it should have instead maybe set something more beneficial in our back row, like maybe even a form of disruption that could summon off of the opponent's summoning with our Divine Temple triggering to summon it, or the Flameburst just summoning it. We have the Sunlight Wolf, which is going to add back in grave our Snake-Eyed Diablo Star, just to send to the grave to summon a Diablo Star from our hand. We're going to be flipping up Lacrima as we send Poplar in itself to go into a sequence. We're going to use Lacrima, return back the Desiree to just fusion summon back into it, but then we didn't. Are we running out of time? Was that a mistake? What's going on here? It's turn 6, and I assume the timer would be low. To summon a Desiree, we need Engraver and 2 other Light Fiends. So I see Engraver, I see a Light Fiend. Is that just 2? We did not have the materials to summon the Desiree we returned back in the extra deck. The time's got to be low. That's what I'm thinking. Because we ended on no disruption again. What? Oh, we got nothing. Oh, well, we have Promethean Princess. Okay, Promethean Princess is the way. We're going to activate the Cursed Eldland. Cursed Eldland. By the way, Eldlich is going to get some new support soon, and it's going to be great. Eldlich, send Eldlich to summon itself from the grave as a 3,500 attack indestructible monster. If you trigger Promethean, it will not destroy the Eldlich. Eldlich is still there. 3,500. You have Promethean, but it wasn't even disrupting. To battle we go. Link Karibo is going to be reducing the Eldlich to 0 attack as we main phase 2 this up into Lina. Lina could steal a light monster from the grave, stealing away your engraver here. Sure, we're not turning this into our own Requiem, right? Celine Navidad. Celine is going to be reborning a spellcaster from our graveyard, and by reborning a Diablo Star or a Magician's Soul, it gets its full effect. Are we doing anything there? We're just summoning it. First, we're going to set up a Conquistador into the back row, using Magician's Soul to send 2 to draw 2. Toy Tank into Toy Box. Toy Box setting up the back row Toy Soldier and another Toy Soldier, double Toy Soldier. As we now go into a Little Knight with the Celine and Magician's Soul instead of an Access Code Talker or an Apollo USA. We're going to Little Knight unsummon, banish away the Promethean Princess from the game. We're going to use Typhoon to spin the Fool back in the extra deck, say goodbye to that sequence. Conquistador is going to be setting up the Eldlixir into the back row during the end phase. Now, what are our forms of disruption? Well, Golden Land Forever. Spell Trap Monster Effect is activated while you control an Eldlich monster. Tribute the zombie, a zombie, negate the activation and destroy that card. And we do have a way to get an Eldlich onto the field. And then 3,000 attack or higher cannot activate. Now, I believe, if I remember correctly, you gain 20 seconds at the start of each turn. So if Morpho was low on time, they should be at least at maybe 30 seconds here. Engraver is going to be returning back Lacrima. You gain 30 seconds. 30, not 20, really? 30? 60. Bro, you're not gaining 60 at the start of every turn. And mind you, some seconds were taken away during our own turn because of summoning Promethean or thinking about summoning Promethean. So I am accounting for that of minus 10 seconds. So maybe they're at 50 seconds, 40 seconds. We'll see. The time's got to be low. Equipping Engraver with the Requiem. Send Requiem to send away the Typhon. As we now go to the battle phase, attempting to go for lethal damage, but who could forget the ultimate ability of Toy Box? If they declare an attack, you could send a face-down card to destroy that opponent's monster. And we're going to transaction roll back half of our life points, copy the Daruma to flip the field face down again. Photon Lord keeps on flipping up, flipping down, flipping up, flipping down, change the battle position, flipping down. We're going to summon the Toy Soldier from Engraving, sent from the back row to the grave, as we now use the effect of Eldlich to summon from the deck or graveyard our Eldlich, turning on the Golden Land Forever to negate and destroy anything, searching for a Sylvie with the Toy Soldier to be used next turn. Mind you, Morpho is still possibly really low on time. He's got limited time in main phase 2 to set up the most forms of disruption possible, and Promethean is gone. So, because the Fiendsmith cards are forever recycling, even better, we go into Lacrima Burn for game. 800 life points, all we have to do is get Lacrima in the grave through something like a sequence, but the sequence gets negated because Mad Dog understands that the Lacrima, even if we wait for Lacrima's effect to fire off, that it could be chain link blocked from us trying to negate it, thus it's not safe to even allow the fusion summon. We're going to set up an Eldlich into the end phase. Deception, Sinful setting itself in the back row. We're ending on 0 disruption. No Promethean Princess, absolutely nothing. The endless recursion of Eldlich is here, summoning onto the field as a 3,500 attack here. We're going to use the Toy Soldier, triggering, reborning, searching our deck for another level 4 light. We got Rusia, which gets special summon alongside the Sylvie. We're going to summon the Sylvie on summon, searching for the Tales of the White Forest. We're going to use Rusia to special summon alongside it. We are going to be sending the Tales of the White Forest to draw a card randomly into the Magician's Soul, triggering the effect of Tales to reset itself into the back row, searching for an Elzat from the deck. Elzat ready once we make room for it to summon itself on the field and search for a White Forest. We have Vsauce Ambertira searching for the Reframing, which will negate and destroy anything. Elzat send the Toy Box, summon itself, and search the deck for the Elzat Azamina. Now we have Vsauce Ambertira, which is going to, what the heck did it just do? It tried to pop it, right? If you destroy a monster, you also, all synchros, gain 800 attack this turn. Boost, 3,800 attack because of the Vsauce attempting to destroy the Eldlich. We're now going to special summon the Elzat Azamina as we go into Silvera, flip the entire field posing face down. Now, this has a crazy effect. Illusion and Spellcaster Synchros gain 500 on top of the 800 from Vsauce, and if they attack a defense position monster, they don't inflict piercing battle damage, they inflict double piercing battle damage. Elzat Azamina triggering. Link Karibo is going to try to thwart that piercing battle damage play by reducing your attack to 0. Link Karibo is the last hope as we are grabbing a Sinful Spoils of Betrayal here with the effect of the Elzat Azamina as we now go into a Chaos Angel. Chaos Angel on summon, banishing away the Flameburst, which will just be summoned from the back row, thus it will not get banished. So you think we're targeting the Flameburst, no matter where it goes, we would still banish it. That's not the case. If it moves zones, it's no longer destroyed or banish, as we no longer have the ability to inflict piercing battle damage, but we could at least wipe out the opposing field. Let's take out the Engraver, take out the Photon Lord. We do have Baron to Floor, which could negate the Flameburst from summoning 2 level 1 fires, but it's a once while face-up effect, thus it's no longer activatable for the rest of it being face up unless you momentarily banish it with something like, let's say, a Little Knight, and then it comes back in the end phase. Because we know it's dead, essentially, beyond its pop a card in the field effect, we're going to turn it into a Varudross, which will instead be able to negate anything and then destroy a card in the field. We're going to summon the Sylvie, set up in the back or the Haquero. We have non-target banish a card from the graveyard. We have negate anything. We have a Chaos Angel, which is unaffected by monster effects. We have the Varudross, which will negate and destroy. This is absolute insanity. And I'm just suspecting that Morpho's still low on time. Maybe we've recovered since then. We're going to Requiem, attempt to reborn itself from Engrave with the effect of Engraver being returned back as the Requiem gets sent back, as we're going to use the Ash Blossom to negate the Eldlich, but we're going to use the Varudross to negate the negate. Thus, the Haquero and Eldlich will successfully resolve. Make sure you're chain linking. Think about stacking plates. The lower plate, the higher plate will be the Eldlich being summoned. The lower plate will be the Haquero being summoned to banish a card from Engrave, which would be the Engraver. Engraver, be gone. Now, we did turn on Triple Tactics talent. One of the best ways to negate it is a Reframing or a Varudras. Reframing, negate the activation of the Triple Tactics talent and mate. Now, if we had another copy of Triple Tactics talent in hand instead of a 1-for-1, it would have been activatable. That is a 2-0 victory. If you could even remember this duel on the very first turn, how many forms of disruption we had? We had like a Desiree, I think an Apollo. We had Masquerena into double banish with Little Knight. We had Photon Lord. We had Promethean Princess. We had like 6 or 7 disruption, and we still won this duel. Nuts. Matt Dog, you are absolutely insane. Good job.